Hey, what's good, beautiful people? Gene Williams here for Unbreakable Soul. We're about to bring you another hot one. Hope you're ready. We're going to talk about emotional health. And you know, we got to include my brother, my partner in crime, Coach G, Gary Newsom. Come in the building, brother. Come on in. Clap me in.
Hey, what's up, my brother?
What's going on, man? How you doing
Not
today?
too much, man. Excited about today, man. You excited?
Yes, sir. It's going to be an amazing show. I looked over the content, so this is going to be, like I said on my post, some much needed discussion about men's emotional health. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah. I hope this moves the hearts and minds of many men out there. Believing for
many, which step upon me. Okay, so you got me. They said, man, you got me going to 50.
I love it, man. I love that you're in music, man, and everything that we talk about brings out music in you.
Yes,
So,
exactly. Everything.
Speaking of that, bro, you got to write a song for the show. You know what I'm saying?
I thought about that. Like, you know, what's funny is I actually have a song that I was working on a while ago called Unbreakable. So, Unbreakable, Unstoppable. I'm going to have to pull that out with the band. Okay, I like that, brother. Thank you for that.
Yeah, man. We have to collab on that. I'm not much of a singer, but you know, I can spit a little bit.
No. Hey, that would be perfect. Let's do it.
Dude, we wanted to blow up, not flop. I can throw a little rap out there too, bro. You know, whatever you need me to do, man.
Hey, I love that. That'd be super dope. You know, we both it's both of us who are on this show rocking. So, you know, it would be definitely potent for you to be to spit a verse or even do some spoken word. You do some spoken word either way.
I can do the spoken word, my man. I can do the spoken word. Yeah, give me a segment for that.
All right, so we got a plan. Next meeting, we got to plan that one.
Okay, man. I'm cool with that. So, hey, you know, we got a lot to get onto tonight. So Unbreakable Souls, this is episode 2, as everybody knows, and we're talking about emotional health. So we've got a lot to cover. We're going to jump right into this. So I guess our talking point number 1, mental health stigma. We kind of talked a little bit about this last week, but make more of a point on it today. So men often face societal pressure to be strong, you know, and to be stoic. And, you know, that has its place, but which can encourage them to be, I can't even talk today, which can discourage them from seeking help for their emotional struggles. I mean, how many men face that? They spend more time being strong and being stoic. I mean, that's me, man. I've been that. I taught that. I have 3 sons, and I taught that to them. And that was one of the worst.
Man up.
Right. You start as a little bitty kid. Yeah. So, but this stigma surrounding men's mental health needs to be addressed, and that's why we want to talk about that today. We want to create a supportive environment for seeking help. So, men, we are here to help you. There's resources out there here to help you. Gene and I both talked last week about counseling. That's a massive resource, especially in the Black community. It's not taken advantage of. But I have to speak from my own experience. It changed my life. I was in a place, I was reaching out to my family and friends, all those in my circle, trying to get them to understand I was in trouble. And I didn't believe in therapy at that time. And my wife at that time was training to become a therapist. But yet I didn't believe in therapy. You know, that was for everybody else. But I finally gave into that and went and got some help and got some professional support. And it wrecked me, man. It changed my life. You know, what's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. I did the same thing, going through a chaotic time in my life. I had to, because I was starting to exhibit a lot of anxiety issues, you know, having panic attacks before I go to certain places, dealing with certain people, not resting well, you know, and then it became something that we're going to talk about later on, became substance abuse. You know, heavy drinking, like heavy. So, you know, and something else that this actually makes me think of, I would love for you to, again, touch on the 3 people in the support system that we talked about last time.
Man, absolutely.
But the reason why I bring that up is because I rarely get on social media, but I happened to go by this martial arts page that I look at. and the seafood was talking about having five friends. So it was like, whoa, wait a minute now. We
Yeah,
just said this on
we
our
just talked
show.
about that.
Yeah. So
Well,
please
yeah,
go
so
ahead and say that.
it's about having a Paul, a Barabbas, and a Timothy in your life. Every man needs at least those three. So your Paul symbolizes that man, that older figure, and it doesn't even necessarily have to be someone older in age, just
Right.
someone wiser in the space that you're in,
Right.
that pulls on you, that can speak into your life, um, that you can glean from, that you look up to. That second person is a Barabbas, and that's your boy, that's your brother, your homie, that's gonna call you out when you're wrong. Hey man, you shouldn't have done that.
Right.
That wasn't right. Why you not getting up working out? You said you was gonna be doing this. You said you was gonna be doing this. You said you were gonna be studying. You said you're gonna be saving your money. He's the one that's
Right.
gonna hold you accountable. But also
Right.
he's gonna be the one that has your back. He's gonna be
Right.
the one that celebrates you. When you're doing it
Right.
up right, he's gonna be the first one that wants to get out there and celebrate you.
Right.
That's the guy that you can share everything with. And then your last guy in your life is your Timothy, and
Hmm.
that's that younger man, or again, doesn't have to be age, but someone who's less experienced in life, in the space that you're at, and you want to pour yourself into him, and
Right.
speak into his life and be his accountability partner and be his support. So you are a well-rounded man when you have all three of those things in your life.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep. And you operate higher when you have, like you said, that support system, and also the person who's going to hold your feet to the fire. You always need that
Yeah,
person
come
who's
on.
going to keep it a buck with you, regardless of.
Yeah.
Look, that they're coming from a loving, constructive place. They just want you to be your best, so they're gonna check you. Hey, bro, the way you handled that was below you.
Yeah, that wasn't
You
cool,
could have
bro.
handled it. Yeah, right, exactly. And
Yeah.
you need that person who's gonna be raw with you. When you have those who are always, oh, you're the greatest. No, then you do start doing stuff, and no one reins you in. Then you way over here doing pikes off a freeway or some stuff, and yeah, go ahead. No, bro, that's stupid. It's stupid.
Yeah.
So you got to have that person who reins you in and keeps
Yeah,
you
that's that
from.
dude that's iron sharpening iron.
Right,
You know
exactly.
what I'm saying? Like you
Yeah,
saying, it's gonna keep it 100 with you 24/7,
right,
in the good and the bad, in the good and the
right.
bad. So, but
The
I
biggest
think
support.
that pushes us into point two. It's when brothers or men don't have those types of people in their lives. Then when we were talking about last week's suicide rates, which is the
Right,
point tonight or today that we want to talk about, the high suicide rates now amongst men. I mean,
right,
suicide is a major concern in
right,
today's world, today's space, because of men's emotional health.
right,
In many countries, men have a higher suicide rate than women. In the
right.
United States, for example, men account for 75% of all suicides. Until I started doing the research on that, bro, I didn't realize the numbers were that high. That's staggering.
Yeah, unfortunately, I thought it was higher.
Really?
um, yeah, I thought it was higher. I thought it was like 80, 85%. But yeah,
Wow.
yeah. But so you got to also think about the time we just passed. We just passed the holidays, and that's the time where people deal with a lot of seasonal depression. I know I did, um, and the suicide rates spike at that time.
Yeah.
People are alone, and they're dealing with or not dealing with their demons, and they, it's really unfortunate. A lot of suicide, a lot of heavy drinking to drown out the pain, to push it down, and yeah, and that's how suicide happens. You keep pushing down those feelings of loneliness, and then all of a sudden it's like there's nothing but bleakness in your mind, and you're just ready to get out of here. You don't care how it happens.
Yeah. And that breaks my heart, because really that's our point two and our point three with substance abuse, because just like you said, that was my outlet in
Yeah,
all the middle of all my stuff, man. And I never really been a heavy drinker, but substance abuse became big time for me. And I found myself in a bottle every day. I mean, and I'm talking about, bruh, a bottle of tequila every day. I was
yes,
buying them by the case, not
Yeah.
just the
Ooh,
bottle and go back the next day. I was just stacking them up, just stacking them
man.
up,
Right.
stacking them up. And I
Yeah.
remember when I came off of that, I was in a relationship and didn't want to die. I mean, I'd gone through that suicide route, and my youngest son, I made a promise to him that I wouldn't take my life.
Hmm.
But then I put myself in situations. I was like, well, I can't take my life, but I can for sure put myself in a situation where my life be taken.
Right.
So I found myself out there doing dumb, crazy stuff in the middle of the night, in places I shouldn't be, and got robbed
Right.
one night, got jumped one night. I mean, just different things each night. I was going out every night looking for trouble.
Right.
I remember coming off of substance abuse when I stepped away from that, going through withdrawals. Oh man, that was terrible. But
Right.
just realizing that wasn't my answer.
Right. Right. Yeah, 'cause it still leaves you empty like that bottle after you get done.
Yes.
I know exactly how that
Yes.
feels. Yeah.
Yes. It's funny that you even said that. That's so powerful that you said that because I would literally drink the bottle and then sit there and stare at it because
Right.
that's exactly how I felt.
Right.
And I know
Empty
there's
on it.
so many men out there that feel that way tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. And
Yeah.
it's crazy that you said your drink choice was tequila. Mine was tequila and whiskey. So
What?
yeah, those are my drinks to the head.
Yep, yep.
The
Forget the
whole bottle.
glass, man. I forgot the
Right.
no more
Yeah.
shots. You just take the bottle.
Exactly. Right. Yeah. When you don't care, you get reckless with it. You know.
Yep.
I've fallen and I got so deep in it, man, that I remember one day sitting up on the side of my bed, not on the side, but like leaning back against the headboard with a full bottle in my hand. I just fell asleep with the bottle in my hand, woke up and just chugged. It was like I just didn't care.
Yeah.
It was insane. Thankfully, again, we talked about that support system. Thankfully my mom was on the show. Hey mom, my girlfriend and her family who really helped me pull myself back out of that sunken place. I mean, let's keep it a buck. It was a sunken place, and it was
It was a
ugly.
sunken
It was
place, man.
dark,
That's the word. Yeah.
and it was dark and abysmal, and I just didn't care. I didn't care, and I would do silly stuff driving when I knew I was plastered, and didn't care. It's like whatever.
Yeah.
If I die, I die.
That's
So,
that's one of my stories too, brother. I was driving and passed out in my truck. Woke up,
man,
didn't know where I was, and I was looking at my phone trying to figure out where I was at and had to jump out the truck to throw up and got back in the truck and I find this light, big bright light shining in my face. And it was this white man. I was in this, I don't even know what neighborhood I was in. He was mad at
right.
me because I was there, black man in his neighborhood, and uh, pulled a gun on me. And I'm like, okay, here it is. This is my chance. Now, today
Right,
is the day I die. Because I was like,
right,
I'm not backing down from this dude. I ain't doing nothing wrong. And he
right.
just looked at me like I was crazy and finally left. But you'd think the
Yeah,
story would end there. But then I get in the truck and I'm trying to drive to figure out my way back home. And I go through 2 stop signs. And lo and behold, as I'm finally making it to the main street and I'm about to make a left turn onto the highway, uh, Popo rolls up behind me.
mm,
And I'm like, oh my God. I pull over my
right.
truck. And I had made it up in my mind that today I'm dying by police.
Wow.
Because however he comes at me, I'm coming right back 100%.
Right.
But you know what? It was like the Lord sent me an angel.
Mm-hmm.
That man was so kind to me, so nice to me, did
Yeah,
everything in his power to help me, and
man,
it was just
that's
incredible.
beautiful. Yeah, that's beautiful, brother. Yeah,
Yeah.
even in your dark time, there was a higher power shining light on you at that time,
Yes.
which
Yes.
further means that ain't your story. You know what I mean?
That's not
That
my
ain't how.
story.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Beautiful.
I
Well, I'm
know
glad
everybody's
you're here.
ending yeah, and I know everybody's ending didn't end like mine did, but I'm just thankful
Right.
that I had the experiences that I have. I mean, I'm not proud of these things that I'm sharing on here today and the things that I did and things I said and how I acted, but um that substance abuse, we didn't even talk about that part. What you're already in a bad place, but the effects that alcohol has or the drugs have on your mental health and just takes it down to a whole nother level.
Right. Yeah, because you get to the point where like you just said, you don't care anymore. Anything goes. There's the dark side of yourself comes to the forefront, and now it's just like you're doing stuff that the regular you would never do because you have more control, you have better judgment. But when you're under the influence, hey, that dark side comes up, and he wants to play.
I love that. He wants to play.
And he wants
The
to
darkness
play.
wants to play.
Hi, I'm Jackie. You want to play?
Oh, that's so crazy, man. That's so crazy. But you reflecting back on it, we can laugh on those things, here on the show today. But man, you just couldn't get to that point. And I know there's so many men out there in the space that we're talking about right now that don't see, they're not in that aftermath that we're in right now, where we can look back on that and see the destruction that we were in. They're in the midst of that right now. But I just want to encourage you guys that as we came out and many, many, many other men have come out, you guys can too.
Yeah. Hey, Mark, can you do me a favor and put that mental health hotline number? Can you have that go across the bottom? So we definitely want, again, we're here to give you encouragement. We're here to give you the tools. But also, if you need someone to talk to right now, you can call 988 for mental health hotline and suicide hotline. Just someone there for you to talk to, kind of get it off your shoulders,
Yeah. Thank you, Mark.
Yeah, I appreciate that, man. But
we all need
we all need that help. We are all interconnected. None of us are here to be alone. We go through loneliness every once in a while. That's a normal thing, but it's there to make us stronger. So again, just find that support system. Find you someone that you can again get the weight off your shoulders, to use as a sounding board, and also get pertinent information to help you transcend the darkness that you're going through.
Right.
Go ahead.
No, I was just saying, get in some good counseling. I was echoing what you were saying.
Yeah. And going to therapy helped me to figure out, because I was going through a rough relationship at the time, and she helped me actually come to terms with parts of myself and why I was dealing with things the way I was, allowing certain things that I know were against who I am as a person transpire. One of the funniest, and I had two counselors say this to me, that's how I know it's a true thing for me. Both of them asked me, Gene, are you a glutton for punishment? I was like,
oh,
what? Nah, what are you talking about? And she was like, Gene, think about it. I was like, damn, maybe I am. The other one said the same thing. So one was a mental health coach. The other one was a sexuality and intimacy coach. And they both said the same thing. I'm just like,
wow.
Ooh. Now, two people saying that, okay, maybe I do.
I got that said. That was spoken into me too, that I just kept going back into destructive situations, even though when I articulate to the counselor how much pain those situations caused me, I still ended up back in the same situation.
Yeah. Exactly.
That was my norm, man. And there's so many men out there, that's your norm. That's all you're used to.
Right. Yeah. And having your emotions pushed down because it's a problem for you to express emotions, but they can do it all day long. That was the deal.
Yeah.
They can express emotions and be all over the place emotionally, high and low and everything in between, but you show some emotion, you're a threat.
Right.
I got that a lot.
I got that all the time. And then I think I was going to save this for when we got to talking about limited emotional expression, but it's relevant now, I guess. But passion, man, I'm such a man of passion.
Right.
And I think I'm always tired of my passion being viewed as anger.
Right.
He's an angry black man. I'm like, no, I'm probably the most least angry man you'll ever meet. Exactly. I'm just passionate. If I'm involved in something, I'm just passionate. Right. I get excited and I get emotional and all that. I'm just passionate about what I'm doing, what I'm saying. That's it. There's no anger behind that.
Right. Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Just jacked up.
Yeah. And then they start. Go ahead. Go ahead, bro.
No, I just said that's just jacked up. Just jacked up. That it has to be
Yeah.
that way.
Yeah.
So,
Right.
but yeah, let's keep
Yeah.
moving, man.
Yeah.
Let's point number 4, work-related stress. Men
Oh
often
yeah.
face stress and pressure in the workplace, which can take a toll on their emotional health. Long working
Mm-hmm.
hours, we know all about that. High
Right.
expectations and work-life imbalance can contribute to mental health issues. I mean,
Right.
that was the story of my life, most of my life. I'm a
Right.
grinder. I'm built that way. And I'm an entrepreneur. So I started multiple businesses, and it was all about, making more money so that my family could have a better life. But in reality, I've learned that that was great. I mean, that's what my father did. But I've learned in reality, I needed to be home more. I needed to spend more time and do more things with my family. So, uh-oh, did I lose my brother? I think I did, but that's okay. Work-life balances. I mean, that's one of those things I've just focused on. This new Gary 2.0 of 2024. Um, yeah, I'm gonna grind, but I understand that I have to make time to have peace. I have to have downtime. I have to slow down and make time for me. I have to make time for those people that are in my life. I kind of call it Sabbath rest. So just as hard as I work, just as hard as I grind, I want to make sure that I spend time alone with myself, alone with the Lord, and then make time for my person. Those people who are important in my life. There's got to be balance, man, in that. You can't just grind and grind and grind and leave everything that you have on the floor at work. And then you come home and you're empty and you have nothing to give to, number one, yourself, and then nothing to give to your family. So it's important that you spend some downtime away um, working on yourself. So don't allow work to dictate everything. When it's, if you're a 9 to 5 guy at 5 o'clock and you walk out of work, turn that turn that part of you off, close it out, and keep it moving. You can pick that back up the next day. So we'll move on to the next point. My brother's coming back, y'all. Hold on. He's good. We're just maybe having some difficulties. Um, my next point that I want to talk into is relationship challenges. So, big one with men. I mean, I know women in too, but big one with men. Relationship problems can significantly impact men's emotional well being. I mean, difficulties in intimate relationships, we're going through divorces, separations, all of that can lead to feelings of loneliness, depression, and anxiety. I mean, that's my story. You back good, bro?
Yeah. Yeah. I'm great now.
Okay. I'm on point number
Actually,
5, relationship challenges. So um, I can
yeah.
keep
Yeah.
going. You want to
I,
jump into that one?
yeah. Yeah. I was going to say definitely what you said. I mean, just the relationship in itself. Being in that space where you can be open. Hopefully. So unfortunately, a lot of us don't have the relationships. We have a balanced um, relationship with the person. For instance, you give more as it pertains to emotions or whatever it be, and they're only giving a, at least that was my experience. You give everything, you give all of yourself, you empty yourself for them, and they are in a shell somewhere. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
those dynamics are, and then especially when you're going through a divorce, then great chunky life and your energy investing in a relationship with a person, and then that relationship is no more. That drains you, makes you feel empty, and I felt a lot of despair. Um, and just those dynamics, the anxiety of the stress of being in a relationship with period. But then being in a unbalanced relationship with a person who is mentally and emotionally unbalanced themselves is just extra.
Right. There you go.
Yeah, it's like it weighs you down. You feel like you're climbing up a mountain, and they're on your from your heart is just this is a limp.
Hey, Eugene,
You
yeah, Eugene's cutting up as always. Gene and Coach Williams, I did have a question for you because a lot of times in relationships, and I'm the single man in the early 60s and everything in that space, but sometimes they tell me that you got to heal yourself. And I know that part of what y'all talk about is healing and everything before you can move on to the next relationship. And I do find that a lot of times we're ready to jump into that next relationship before we've even gotten ourselves healed from the past relationship. And I know I've been guilty of that, but I was just wondering if you could speak to that because I do know that sometimes you miss that company, you miss that comfort, you miss your that companionship, and all along those lines, and you're ready to move on to the next chapter before closing the last chapter. So I was wondering if y'all
Right.
could both speak to that because I do know that sometimes we are all guilty of that because you're like, look, I know it was a good thing while it was going on, and it left for whatever reasons. It might have been something not going good in your life or in their life, and then you had to move on. But sometimes you're ready to jump into the next saddle before you conquered the last horse that you were on and everything. But I was wondering y'all's take on that.
Well, yeah, that's my story, Mark and Gene. I mean, I'm 53 and I
Yeah.
was in a marriage relationship, married 32 years with her 34. So do the math on that. I mean, 34 years with the same woman and getting a
Right.
divorce. First of all, you got to understand a divorce is a ripping,
Right.
it's a tearing of flesh. I mean, because when you get married and you become one, I mean, that's a 34-year soul tie, 34-year bond. Everything I know, everything I thought, everything about me, my aura, everything was her and our children, our family. And now that's gone. So like you talking about loneliness and depression and anxiety. So now you enter into holidays with new paradigms, a new normal, which just adds more to your
Right.
loneliness and your depression and your anxiety. But a man like me that's been in a relationship who's relational like that, that's all I know. So now divorce is in my face, and now I'm in a dating world, which oh my god, it's like someone pissed in the pool out there today. But I'm in a dating world, and I have no grid for what that looks like. I was 18 when got into my marriage.
Right.
Wow.
So how to date, how to even slow down and take time to heal myself from that past relationship, I had no grid for that. All I knew was I didn't want to be alone and I wanted to be in another relationship. It's still at 50 when this happened, 49, 50. I'm like,
Yeah.
well, I'm still a good looking man. I just lost 100 pounds. I'm in the best shape of my life. Feel like an 18-year-old again. Now, physically, I was there, but emotionally, spiritually,
Yeah.
I wasn't there. I wasn't ready. I was a train wreck.
Oh yeah.
I got into
Mhm.
relationships and I made so many bad choices, bad decisions, got hooked up with women that over a few months, I'm like, I don't even like this girl. Why am I with this girl? You know what I'm saying? Um, I'm more one who dates. If I'm not a big, I hate dating. I just hate this whole process because I'm relational and I want to be married. But if I'm going to date, I want to date someone that I'm going to marry.
Right.
I date with purpose, I date with intentionality. So I got into relationships and I'm like, okay, if this girl ain't gonna end up being my wife, there's no point in doing it or being in it. I even had women say that I was thirsty because I said that all the time.
Mm.
That you're so thirsty, you just want to get married. Why am I thirsty? Because I know what I want.
Right.
I know I want to be married. I know I
Right.
was built to be married. I wasn't built to be single. I wasn't built to be in this relationship and that relationship and all of that. That I've come to a place now. I'd rather be single and wait on my kingdom wife than to be hopping and jumping and all of this and all of that. So that's my story.
That makes a lot of sense and everything. And as you were saying that, I was just thinking to myself, and Gene might be able to relate to this, how there are folks that you know are bad for you, and you know that they're bad for you even when you're in those relationships. But
Yeah.
because you're wanting to be in a relationship, and because society says that it's good to be in a relationship, you wind up getting in relationships that you know are not healthy for you. I know that I've been guilty of that because you can already tell already that that is not the person for you. The chemistry isn't there, but we try to force the chemistry sometimes,
Right.
even when the chemistry isn't there and everything.
Right.
And sometimes our friends and family don't want to necessarily reveal what they think about that chemistry because they're afraid that you won't listen in the first place and everything. Because I know that I've had friends of mine that have been like, "Yeah, she was crazy. You should have been dealing with her in the first place," and everything. You go like, "Well, why did you tell me that in the relationship?" And they're going like,
Right.
"Because you want to
Right.
listen. If we told you you want to listen, you were too enamored, you were too whatever and everything. So even if we had told you that that was not the answer, you would not have been listening in the first place."
Yeah. Well, and I say, Gene, you got the freshest perspective because I'm
Right.
3 years
Yeah,
removed from that, and you're going through that now, right?
me too. 3 years, about 3 years on. But so what now it's funny because I'm gonna say this from the standpoint of a person who's in a relationship. To be in this relationship, it because she was one of the people who helped me with my healing process after the breakup. But, but first of all, we have to recognize that healing is a lifelong. It has no end. Like you may do the work to start healing from that process, and then you feel healed into a relationship and something that she does, it trigger something in you, and you really still not completely healed from that. So we have to realize that itself is a lifelong journey. It's not
Yeah.
something that's going to be. I'm going to be perfect. Nah, it's lifelong. It's lifelong.
Yeah.
You never know when that band-aid is going to be off of that gash. So
Right.
always, so we have to live with it. We're all works in progress. Um, Second, I think we have to use that for ourselves and step back from engage and kind of sitting back and watching the red flags. It's like in the movie and sitting back as viewer of the movie, watching what's going on. But see red flag.
Yeah.
You said that you knew that they showed it was crazy.
Yeah.
So just from sitting back, like if you're in the movie of your life, what would you in
I'm
those
sorry,
shoes?
but it was what?
Say that again.
So if you a person movie of your life, when is not right for you, but you're in it and you step back. Now you're in it like as a person actively situation, but also sitting back as the viewer. You know how we talk to the TV? Man, you see all that? She crazy.
Yeah.
What to yourself about that relationship in your life?
Well, man, I know
You're
I.
like, nah,
Yeah.
she beautiful.
I know I have learned to listen to myself.
I'm like,
I've learned to listen to
yeah,
myself,
right.
and
Listen to that intuition.
when the alarms go off inside, I have done a much better job of not uh turning that off but pausing and having those Selah moments and listening. And I just move forward in what I'm feeling. I got to be my authentic self, and I got to be with someone who accepts me as my
Right.
authentic self. Um, and allows me to be me, pushes me to be a better me, allows me to grow daily. Can't be with people who don't want to grow. Um, yeah, I've learned
And
so much, man. I've done so much work on myself, and I've had so much help and therapy, and I've had a good tribe. We talked about that last week. I have good people around me now that really pour into that.
Yeah, no doubt about that and
right.
everything. Yeah, one thing that I was curious about, I put it in the chat and
So
I'm
I say
bounced off.
to your question,
Yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead, Gene.
I was gonna say, so just the answer, my answer, trust that you have the information when you feel like something is wrong, you see red flags, you hear those, hey, she seems cool, but those red flags are going off, those alarms are going off. So I'm stage left, go in chaotic, and you save yourself a lot of problems. We all want to have a relationship where we are intimate with somebody, but we want to make sure that we are using energy in the way be most beneficial to us and the person who we're dealing with. You
Mm,
know that you're about to give a whole of, and that person can't seem to give it. You can see that off top.
right.
Show you. They tell if you let them, you sit down and have a conversation, people tell you. They don't say it straight on, but the things that they talk about kind of, okay, this is not the person, the forever partner for me. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and leave Shorty alone. She's sexy, but nah, she go crazy.
Well, hey, bro, but have you learned? I know I have learned it's not even about that. I've learned that looks or beauty is fleeting, as the word
Mhm.
says, and you
Oh
can't
yeah,
invest
right,
all of your time and energy in a woman that is fine. Um, it's not about that because she can be fine on the outside and be as ugly as I don't know what on the inside. So I've learned to put a greater value on who that person is and how they make me feel and how I connect to them. I'm really big now on that chemistry and that energy, like-mindedness, being on one accord,
right,
being equally yoked, whatever you want to call that, that we vibing, and you I think yeah, you got to date people for a while, but the vibe of a woman, a connection, if it's there, it's not there pretty quickly.
right,
I mean, I know I'm very discerning, but I
right,
think you know that very quickly, and I just don't ignore that anymore.
right. Yeah, that's what I was saying. Like when red flags, this person, you know what I mean? It's cool to talk to them, but relationship long term, nah. And I mean, like I said, you pick that up. We get older as men, we listen more because we think with this head.
How
and head.
many times that got us in trouble? Well, Mark, I hope we answered your
Yeah,
question.
we begin.
Yeah, you definitely answered the question and everything because I was actually thinking about that. I'm gonna bounce off, let y'all continue the conversation y'all are having. But yeah, that's one of the things that I was puzzled about and everything because definitely I know that sometimes people even want to. When y'all were talking about that emotional strength and everything, one of the things I put in the chat was that men like to act tough even when they are not, and that is one of those stigmas that go on. And I had said that every man, and I was using some dated references, wants to be Rocky or those guys from The Godfather, even though that's not their lifestyle, or even in those cases they weren't always as emotionally secure as they probably could have been. Because even Rocky had some emotional insecurity, and definitely the guys from Godfather did as well. But a lot of people want to put on that tough exterior and act as if they are tougher than they actually are, and everything. And that's part of that emotional growing up as well. And then the other thing that I've noticed is
Right,
that sometimes we are afraid to accept the gifts that are given to us as well and everything. Because I know that there have been the opposite situations where there was that chemistry that you were talking about, coach, but because of the strings attached with that chemistry, then you're afraid to get emotionally tied into it. Because as I've gotten older, I've definitely talked to some people that have kids, and in some cases even grandkids and everything, and then you're like, do I want to do that? That's a ready-made family and everything. But then you realize that you might
Right,
have some chemistry with them, and then there could be a gift that you might be missing out on, and sometimes they also have some questions about bringing that into your life as well if you don't have that as part of your life. So those are some of those conversations that you got to have, that internal conversation with yourself about as to how much you are able to handle and what you can handle.
right. Well, I know me. I've definitely learned to. And I wouldn't say I'm not a list guy. I'm not a list guy, so I don't necessarily make a list of what I want, but I kind of made a mental note that I want, and I've taken inventory from
Right,
past relationships that I've had, and I'm like, well, I like this, and I like this, and I like this, and you kind of build that model person. But ultimately, I just trust the Lord, man. I say, Lord, send me my kingdom wife, and I trust that. I trust that.
yeah, yeah,
So
and that's the beauty of like you said, that discernment, having that ability to know, okay, yeah, this works for me, this doesn't, you know, and it's like you said, a mental list. You got to have that that list of inventory to determine what's best for you in relationships, because relationships make a major part of your life, and they also determine how you feel about yourself. So it's imperative that we make wise choices as it pertains to partners.
I think that's probably the greatest choice a man can make. I guess I don't think I realized that until I got divorced. Who you select as your
Yeah.
mate, that's probably the greatest decision of your life. And I think we fly into that, and we don't vet that out properly. And
Right.
we should. I mean, that's got to be someone. I wrote out, man, a prayer that I pray every day, and it listed out all the things I feel that I need. And it wasn't anything spectacular, some simple things. You know, I'm just a simple guy. But I think one of the things that's also changed in me is, as I pray, Lord, send my kingdom wife, make me the man that my kingdom wife needs. You know, so many
Right.
times we say she's got to be this tall and this kind of Coca-Cola body, and all these different things and measurements and stuff. But in reality, I want to be everything that she needs me to be.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I pray both sides of that. Lord, send me what I desire. Also, let me be what she needs
Right.
me to be. Let me be
Right.
a man who is open and expressive in his emotions, and um, that can tell her he loves her, can show her he loves her, can be consistent with her, can be confident with her, can be a shoulder for her to cry on. All these things that women
Right.
need. Lord, let me be all of that. So,
Right. Yep. Yeah, because I mean, really, you got to think about it like this: relationships are a team. She's part of your
yes,
team. You know what I'm saying? So, in order for the team to work properly, you have to have uh, both sides have to supplement what the other doesn't have and strengthen what
exactly.
they do. And that's
Yep.
the beauty of a relationship. A good one, a good relationship makes both parties, both parts better.
Better. Yes.
And that's
Yep. I agree, man. You want to move on to our next point, or you got more on this one?
no, I'm good on this. We're at 6, right?
Yeah. I'll let you start that one.
All right. So number 6 is limited emotional expression. We kind of touched on this before, but we're going to touch on a little bit more. Societal expectations often discourage from being openly expressed, or from openly expressing their emotions. This can lead to emotional suppression and difficulties in effectively managing and expressing their emotions. And with that, when you suppress anything that you push down, it's just like I said, you push it down, something's going to come from that. So we have to
Yeah.
address, and not being. We talked about this earlier. Being passionate causes fear. As a man, you're angry. No, I felt that. I felt that on my soul, and I'm expressing that
Yeah.
to you in that way. So it's like we have the only time that we're allowed to be expressive is when it's sports on
Right.
screen or something like that. But in regular life, well, if you're not this all the time, then
Oh,
you're
wait.
not a man. Right, exactly. Like who can? This is exhausting. Something like this, even just the physical aspect of it is exhausting. You do that long enough, your muscle will be like, look, bro, you're gonna be like this for the rest of your life.
Right. End
But
up passing out.
we right. I see you being you're always in that stiff pose. But yeah, just limiting our emotions and pressing things down is what causes the implosions that cause depression, suicide, and substance abuse and things of that nature. And it wreaks utter havoc in your life
Yeah.
when you're not able to express things in a constructive manner, because there's only two ways to deal with stress. Only two ways: either destructively or constructively, and the choice is
Right.
yours. And when you press it down, it's a destructive cycle. It's a destructive
Right.
cycle, cut and dry. But when you're able to express yourself in a place where it's safe and you're allowed to be vulnerable, you're supported in your vulnerability, then you can alchemize the energy into something positive to make you better in the world around you.
Yeah. Well, I'm echoing everything you said, man, but I had to learn some strategies, so we got to give the men some
Mhm.
practical stuff. I had to learn some strategies to come out of that. First of all, I had to learn how to express myself effectively. And I had to understand that I'm not responsible for um, other people's feelings and emotions. Sometimes I was
Right.
afraid to express myself because I was afraid, like I said about with passion. I'm just speaking out of passion, out of
Right.
my from the depths of my soul, and I can't control that you take that as me being angry. And then when you
Right.
say that to me, and I say back to you, I'm not angry, I'm just passionate, but you still hold on to the narrative that I'm angry. That's your issue. So one of the things I've
Right.
done is I've let go of that. I am not responsible. And by no means am I saying we can just say and do anything. There's a
Right.
responsibility that comes with that, but I am not responsible for how you feel and how you think other people. I can't control that.
Right.
The weight of that, I just don't do that anymore. So I speak my heart, I speak my mind. And I know I'm coming from a place of love, and my desire is not to hurt or to harm, is always to uplift. But I've just built in some strategies like quiet time, mindfulness, um, my heavy bag, 2 to 3 minutes on my heavy bag, going for a walk, journaling, drawing,
Right.
exercising, praying. I mean,
Right.
I've just come up with different things now that help me express myself. Because a lot of times
Right.
when we talk about expression, men don't express themselves in any shape or form. So we're not just
Right.
talking about verbal expression. So
Right.
yes, you have to get better at expressing yourself verbally, but learn to express yourself in all the different ways that God has given you. Because
Right.
it's unique to you. So I've named off some of mine. What are some of your expressions, Gene?
Yeah. So some of my expressions are exercise. Um, Anytime I'm stressed out, I can hit the mat, or like you said, the heavy bag, or go for a run or something like that. Music has always been a great way to help me calm down or work through issues. Journaling is a great one. Writing, reading, like you said, quiet time to myself, taking a walk, getting that fresh air in.
Right.
Um, like you said, there's so many things. I get on my guitar. I may play with my dogs. Just something that is, like you said, very specific to you and what brings you peace. Um, yeah, yeah. But finding something constructive to do, and journaling is also something great to do because you can go back and look at what you wrote at that time, so you can recognize the tools that you gained from that period to you know a period that comes after that. Um, yeah, and music, like I said, is a great one. Um, and also just talking to people that um, are there for you, to have your back. You have a support system, and getting out, having social time sometimes is a good thing. We often um, get reclusive. I know I'm guilty of that. I'll get away from people and kind of allow myself to stew in the darkness, and then and then that causes more destruction because um, you do things behind closed doors that are destructive because you don't have someone who's going to be like, hey, you don't need to be doing that. You know, it's a problem that we all have. That's why we got to have that Paul, Timothy, and Barabbas um, paradigm in our lives. All right, so number 7 is risk of depression. So while women are more likely to be diagnosed with depression, men may experience different symptoms or be less likely to seek help. This can result in underdiagnosis and undertreatment of depression in men. And as we said before, with the lack of expression, as men, we're taught to just man up, you got it, and really sometimes we don't, and that's just the reality of it all, and that's okay. That's why we have a support system. That's why we have the ability to reach out to a therapist so that we can get those tools to help us process our feelings and help us um, stave away deep depressions. Um, and again, so and because of that paradigm, you're a man up, stop crying, stop being. Yeah, right, exactly. We don't seek out therapy. It has been a lifesaver for me. I'm gonna be completely honest. I've been through a couple years. I'm sorry, 3 years, coming up on 3 years of mental health therapy. Also, my mom helped me with trauma therapy to help me put my eyes on, put light on the
Come
trauma
on,
that
man.
I've dealt with.
Come
Yeah,
on.
not only the relationship that I was in, but trauma from my childhood that went unchecked. And that's
Yes.
why I say constantly, healing is a lifelong journey. I still deal with trust issues and abandonment issues from things that transpired when I was a child.
Yes. Yes.
That you hold deep down, and then you realize you're holding on to. This is my journey. Held on to a relationship that I knew from the start was no good for me, but because I had abandonment issues, I stayed in that relationship with the rose-colored glasses on, saying, "Well, if I love her this way, then she'll do this, or if
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
do this, if I become this person, then she'll do this." And you have to realize that change is upon the person. You can only be the example, but
Right.
we have not the power to change anybody else. We can only change ourselves. Um,
That's so good, brother. That's so good.
yeah, and so, man, it's just it's beautiful. You know how they say hindsight is 20/20. So you look
Right.
back on a situation, like, man, if I was the same person I am today back then, this wouldn't happen. Well, that hindsight shows you, okay, you've grown from who this person is. That person is long gone now. You went through this journey to build you up. These are the bricks that built that road to your journey of higher self. So,
Right.
you know,
I don't know, man. That's powerful, bro.
but yeah,
That's powerful. I feel that, and
Yeah, I was
I just
feeling that
want
myself and everything because I know I've been guilty of that. Where you got people that are either trying to change you or you're trying to change them, and like you said, the only person that can really change somebody is the person that's in the. I think Michael Jackson said, "The man in the mirror." So he's the person that's in the mirror, either the man or the woman within the
I
mirror
was
that
just
can
about to say,
change that person. But a lot of times, folks are trying to change folks. So I can definitely relate to that. I've been in relationships where I was trying to change them, or they were trying to change me. And I mean, it's all right if you got like some constructive criticism because we all can use constructive criticism and that can be a positive change if they're trying to give you some constructive criticism that you can take heed to and decide to make the change. But at the end of the day, you got to make the change and everything. So if you are a drinker and they tell you that you need to get off the bottle, you have to make that decision. They can't take the bottle from you and think that it's going to stop the
right,
bottle. You got to make the decision in yourself and everything. So that they can give you
right.
some constructive criticism, but you've got to make the change in and of yourself. So I was relating to what you were saying, Gene, and everything. So I can definitely relate to that.
yeah, that was powerful, man.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, hey, I wanted to throw these statistics out here too, man.
The only person
Go ahead. I'm sorry. What'd you say, bro?
drop the stats on.
Drop the stats
I
on them.
said drop the
Okay.
stats.
Well, it was
Yes,
staggering to see this, but
sir.
according to the World Health Organization, suicide is the second leading cause of death among men aged 15 to 29 globally. Wow. OMG, bro. Next one. In the
Yeah,
United States, men are 4 times more likely to die by suicide than women. And the suicide rate among middle-aged men is particularly high. That's us.
Mm.
The National
right.
Institute on Alcohol Abuse and Alcoholism reports that men are more likely than women to engage in heavy drinking and have alcohol-related problems. Hmm. The American Psychological Association
Amen to
states,
that.
yeah, states that men are less likely than women to seek mental health treatment, which only 1 in 4 men receiving mental health care. Man, we've got to break that stigma
Yeah,
that it's okay to get help.
yeah.
The Centers for
Yeah.
Disease Control and Prevention reports that men are less likely than women to report experiencing symptoms of depression, but may be more likely to exhibit anger, irritability, and aggression. So the outcomes of what you talked about earlier, pushing all that stuff in, then it comes out negatively, destructively. A study published in the Journal of Family Psychology found that men's mental health
Yeah.
can be negatively affected by relationship conflict, particularly when their partners express hostility towards them. Hmm. And then the last one, the American Psychiatric Association states that men are more likely than women to be diagnosed with substance abuse and use disorders.
Wow.
It's got to change.
Right.
Gotta change for
And
sure.
I do want to say that one of my friends said this, and it was very poignant when he said it. He said that anger is sadness.
Say
I
that again.
mean, a root. It's not. So he said that anger is sadness's guardian.
Mm,
So, the anger comes out as a way to protect us from the sadness. So you go from one polarity to the other. Anger is an expression of sadness.
yeah, defense mechanism.
And yeah, I yes, exactly. And I admit I'm totally knowing that fact, because I go from sadness to despair to anger and back and forth, going through the situation I'm going through. So I know that that's a fact. But it starts from that acknowledgement that you're sad, and you hate to admit it, but it's a fact. And you have to be honest with yourself. You have to be raw with the person in the mirror in order to create the step. The first step to knowing that you have a problem and changing the problem is acknowledging that you have a problem.
Yes, yes, yes. That's powerful, man. I just think this lack of social support, we've got to squash that in men. And brothers, you got to reach out. It's strength. It is strength to say I'm in
Yeah.
trouble and I need help. It's weakness. Now we want to talk about men and strength. It is literally weakness to go through situations that are beyond you or that overwhelm you or overcome you and go through that by yourself. That's weakness.
Right.
It is strength to say, hey, I'm in
Right.
trouble. I'm lost. I'm sad. I'm angry. I'm hurt. I'm frustrated, whatever
Right.
that negative emotion is, and say, I need some help. I need some support. And I've learned that talk
Right.
therapy, sometimes just talking, just
Right.
expressing your thoughts and your feelings raw, get around someone that there's no judgment. They will just listen to you. And Gene and I are
Yeah.
both here available, but if there's people in your circle that you've identified, get to that person and say, hey, I'm in trouble and I need help and I just need to talk.
Right.
I just need to share. Talk therapy
Yeah.
was life
Yeah.
changing for me.
Yeah. Same here. Same here. Yeah. Especially in great talk therapy, they not only let you talk, they also give you tools.
Yes.
That's what we need.
That's what we need. So we left you with some nuggets here today. We talked about finding that space. First of all, having the courage to just talk up, speak out that I'm hurting, I'm in trouble, and I need to share. And then do some things on your own that you can do. Like, we talked about the heavy bag. We talked about writing and journaling, the yoga mat that he gets on. There's various things that are customizable to you that will help center you and bring you mindfulness and bring you peace. So explore whatever option that you can to express yourself, but don't leave that stuff inside.
Right. Agreed. Another hot one.
Yeah.
Another
Final
hot
thought
one.
is yours, my brother.
We needed to get. Ooh. Okay. Thank you. So I just want to say, get the help. Acknowledge that you have an issue. Find the help. Find the support system that will help you constructively process those emotions so that you can become a better version of yourself. You have the power, and everything is set to make you. And so when you acknowledge it and you start doing the work consistently, there's another up from there.
Right.
So just keep.
Good stuff. We love y'all out there.
Sir.
Appreciate you, my brother. I am my brother's keeper.
Absolutely. Yeah, same here. Same here.
Yeah.
Same here. And make sure y'all, if y'all need the help, call that hotline there.
Yep.
That's a great
Y'all
start.
had another one on fire and everything, so that was a great conversation. I'm going to go out with that mental health promo that we did, one of the other ones that was out there, so that folks can understand that this mental health issue is something that brothers are dealing with, sisters as well, but definitely some powerful conversation, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. Y'all were dropping jewels left and right, so hopefully folks got that information, and we'll continue getting it, and y'all have another exciting show on next week. So what is the topic next week before I hit this PSA? Because I know y'all got a planned out agenda. Today was around emotional health. So what is the topic going to be around on Saturday the 20th?
We are doing mental health next week.
Oh yeah, that mental health is an important conversation. That's a very important conversation, and that's actually what this video is about. So I think this is a good segue into this, because this is around mental health as well. So let's check this out.
We are sending you signals every day.
We are sending you signals every day.
We're sending you signals every day.
We're sending you signals every day.
I'll be feeling sad, but you're too busy to notice.
We are sending you signals every day.
I'll tell you that I'm feeling afraid,
but you'll just tell me everything's okay.
I'll get real angry about something, but you'll take it personally.
We are sending you signals every day. My grades will drop.
And you'll yell at me for not trying.
I stopped caring about how I look.
And you didn't even notice.
We are sending you signals every day.
I don't see my friends anymore.
And you think it's good that I'm always home.
We are sending you signals every day.
I'll tell you, I wish I could go to sleep and never wake up.
And you tell me to stop staying up so late.
We are sending you signals every day.
I need you to look.
I need you to listen.
And ask me if you can help.
I just need to be left alone right now, man.
No, Cam. I think the problem is that you've been left alone way too much.
Life's hard. The world is complicated.
Remember, you are not alone.
Love you, girl. I love you too.
Mental health challenges are common, treatable, and often preventable.
It's time to talk about it.
It's time to defy the fear and stigma that has made so many suffer in silence.
Instead, dare to love yourself and others.
Dare to ask for help and support.
I love you guys.
Dare to listen and show up for the people around you.
Join the conversation.